Saratogan is privileged to be one of the very first cabs off the rank with their initial $5 million investment. So very much a affirmative moment where EBRD have affirmed their support for their project at that very highest level of government.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Saratogan Graphite Managing Director, Sean Gregory. Sean, good to see you today. You're currently in Kazakhstan where your project's located. Tell us what you're doing there.
Yeah, good morning, Stephen. Look, I'm thrilled to have the different background today. Normally I'm doing these videos with the view of Perth in the background, but it is, of course, Astana where I join you from this time. And look, we've had a wonderful trip in Kazakhstan, spending a real contrast from sitting around a campfire with our exploration team to donning the suit and tie and meeting the ministers and other government authorities. So really good progress on that very important aspect of the project.
So, Sean, you've been shown very strong support for the project, both in Kazakhstan, but also internationally. So maybe just start off with the support you're seeing for it locally.
Sure. Let's go from the bottom up, the local levels of government and move up to the highest levels. So look, at the local level of government, we work very closely with the local Akimats, or shires, if you like, and it was my pleasure to meet one of the Akims, or the mayor, in the town of Agadir in central Kazakhstan. Now, this is the location where we plan to build our thermal purification facility. And I was very impressed with the infrastructure available there. There's an enormous power substation there, 500 kilovolts. It's one of the biggest in the world. That is the main power artery for Kazakhstan. And it looks like we're going to be able to tap directly into that to get high voltage power at exceptionally low cost. So that was exciting. As well, of course, we're on the Silk Road. And we got held up at a level crossing there where there were just train after train after train full of sea containers from China on their way to Europe. And that's, in fact, how we want to transport our product in the future as well. So from an infrastructure point of view, the town of Agadir looks absolutely perfect for us. And the word from the Akim is that he's very eager to see us bring hundreds of jobs to town.
Looking globally, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, so that's the EBRD, highlighted your project as a case study at the Mineral Security Partnership Finance Network at the UN this week. So that must be a big accolade for you.
Yeah, look, we think so. That was a really pleasant surprise. And look, another one of the benefits of bringing EBRD on as a major investor into our project. We're very pleased that that was a ringing technical endorsement of the project. And now we're starting to see the benefits flow from having Big Brother on our team. And EBRD was able to put our name up in lights at the United Nations General Assembly. They've established, or about a dozen countries have banded together and established this Mineral Securities Partnership, where they want to be providing finance to projects that provide critical raw materials. And of course, Saratogan meets that objective. And from the bank's point of view, they have slated $250 million to invest into junior mining projects. And Saratogan is privileged to be one of the very first cabs off the rank with their initial $5 million investment. So very much a affirmative moment where EBRD have affirmed their support for their project at that very highest level of government.
I mean, tell us how that investment is going to be used as you take the project forward. What's the latest at the project, Sean?
Yeah, look, so I was pleased to see at the mine site this week the trial mining activities which have been completed, where we've excavated a 20-ton sample, and that's now at the lab in Karaganda being prepared for milling tests, where we'll confirm the performance characteristics that we assumed in our pre-feasibility study. Some of that sample will be sent to Australia and for flotation up to 80% carbon, and then onwards to America for purification to 99.999. And all of these activities are very much in the bucket of what I call early works for a definitive feasibility study. Early works being customer focused. We think that's the next big value add for our project. We've got an enormous tick in the technical feasibility of the project, a big tick from the bank's involvement from a finance point of view, a big tick from government relations in terms of this week's activities, and of course now marketing and offtake becomes a key area of focus for us.
Well, Sean, I hope you'll keep us updated on any progress there. Thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Stephen. Exciting times.
Indeed, Saratoga Graphite Managing Director Sean Gregory.